Well, Joe Biden long ago proved to be the wellspring of an endless stream of malapropisms, of fast and easy lies, and of downright bizarre statements. But his June 16th appearance at the tax-subsidized University of Hartford in Connecticut and their Safer Communities Summit to propagandize in favor of his Constitution-insulting, rights-crushing so-called ban on pistol stabilizing braces, you know, the one conducted through his executive action and his Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. Enjoy finding that in the Constitution. Well, his recent appearance at this wonderful summit might just have brought us the most absurd Biden statements of the year. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. Ah yes, old Amtrak Joe. This guy has a facility for falsehood so towering he appears completely unfazed when telling absolute whoppers. And when speaking at this Harvard propaganda so-called summit, he seemed compelled to attack House Republicans who last week passed a resolution to stop the ATF from enforcing his pistol brace ban, a resolution that needs a similar Senate victory and which Biden has pledged to veto. In this case, Shotgun Joe attacked rights and truth by claiming his brace ban made it harder to get the device, and that if those evil people who own pistol braces use them, well...
Put a pistol on a brace, it turns into a gun. Makes it more, you can have a higher caliber weapon, a higher caliber bullet coming out of that gun.
And remember, everyone can rely on Joe's veracity and judgment, whether it be his plagiarism of British politician Neil Kinnock back in 1987, or his reckless 2013 hip-to-guns bluster that people just shoot shotgun blasts through their front door to keep out unwanted strangers. Well, we all know how truthful and wise old Gripper Gramps Joe can be. The absurdity of his dumb statement would be laughable if Biden weren't continuing his nearly lifelong attack on the right to keep and bear arms, in this case adding to his anti-constitutional gun grab mindset with the idea that he or even Congress somehow can ban the sale or purchase of a pistol brace. As R. Hawkins writes for Breitbart, quote, "A stabilizer brace is simply a piece of plastic that can be attached to the rear of the gun to help stabilize the pistol when target shooting. The braces were first developed to help wounded combat vets steady a pistol so they could continue to enjoy shooting sports despite their battlefield injuries." It's a good thing Joe is so up on firearms. In fact, he's so on the ball that in the same appearance, he offered more highly dubious history about guns and his own experiences, stating that prior to the unconstitutional, federally mandated background checks on legal gun buyers, cities like New York and Philadelphia, which he also said he knows well, saw
a truck pull to the curb and selling weapons, selling guns, selling AR-15, selling weapons.
And of course, Biden implied that the background check stopped those wicked ice cream truck sales of AR-15s out there on the streets. This, like virtually everything he has said about firearms, among many topics, is completely untrue. Whether it be the background check or the so-called 1994 assault weapons ban that applied to certain kinds of guns and their attachments that the politicians arbitrarily called assault weapons, the pieces of federal paper and the bureaucratic orders tossed at gun shop owners and customers are dismissed by people who have criminal intent. As Annie Oakley writes for Not the Bee, quote, "Joe Biden has actually not passed any laws that would make it harder for a criminal to get a gun. The 1994 bill pushed by Dems like Biden and Chuck Schumer, these people have been in power forever, that banned assault weapons didn't actually keep the bad guys from ignoring one more law, even if they say it stopped 3 million guns from being sold. criminals don't tend to give up if they fail to procure weapons once or twice. Even outlets like the Seattle Times and WAPO, that's the Washington Post, have to admit that the bans did little in terms of stopping actual numbers of gun deaths. And the practical effect of making people wait to get guns so that they can go through a so-called background check as mandated by the taxing, gun-pointing politicians in D.C., well, the practical effect is to make more people vulnerable, law-abiding people more vulnerable. The waiting period for her permit saw New Jersey resident Carol Brown defenseless when her ex-boyfriend attacked and killed her in 2015. This despite the all-powerful restraining order the government issued against him coming into contact with her. The practicality of firearms also repeatedly has been spelled out by researcher John Lott, who has published reams of books and online articles backed by real data to show the strong correlation between higher private gun ownership and lower violent crime rates. Then, of course, there's the sinister history of so-called gun control, be it enacted in Germany, German-occupied France, Soviet Russia, Armenia, or sundry other nations. Combined with those terrible practical outcomes, the anti-constitutional nature of Biden's gun-grabbing goon squad and the immoral nature of their aggression against peaceful people all stand like giant absurdist insults to all of us, the poor subjects they keep trying to disarm. Oh, and there's one more absurd item to note in Biden's recent appearance at tax-subsidized University of Hartford. As he concluded his speech, Biden wandered into this.
God save the Queen, man.
Seriously? Did he mean his wife? Or perhaps that actually was what he meant. After all, he certainly seems to view himself and his political class as royalty with the power to toy with our rights and the license to lie with absolute impunity. But of course, Biden can't change the truth. The key lesson in all of this absurd rhetoric is that we have the inherent right to self-defense. The Constitution supposedly tells Biden to keep his hands and his dumb rhetoric and subterfuge away from us and our rights. It would be nice if Biden acknowledged that truth, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe and join us at Rumble, where they don't censor us. Please share the videos far and wide with as many people as you can. Hit the thumbs up button because that helps us in the algorithm. And of course, we'll see you at MRCTV.org, MRCTV.org. While you're there, visit the MRC Store and consider supporting the Media Research Center in its 36th year fighting left-wing media bias. We'll see you on TikTok, on Instagram, in Facebook, and on Twitter. And on Gab, I am at Gardner Goldsmith, and on Twitter, I'm at Gard Goldsmith. And of course, you can always find our videos on YouTube, where, yes, they do censor us. We'll see you in the comments section on all of the platforms where they are available. Thanks again for watching, one and all. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.